So today here in town, we are having a parade and like a small thing. I think this is for the 250th birthday of the nation. So I am going to be working with Mom briefly because she got hired to be the face artist. And I'm also going to be taking Tommy around. There's supposed to be a parade. There's some local vendors, some food, all that sort of stuff. So I may have to cut the audio out, but definitely going to try and show you some of that. The reason I may have to cut the audio out is because of copyrighted music, loud noises from the parade, too many people talking, so I won't necessarily be able to capture, a good thing of me talking during it, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so that's what you're gonna see next, and here we go.
So, what I didn't realize at the time was that in addition to being a celebration of 250 years of the Declaration of Independence, the birth of our nation, it's also 160 years that my particular town has been a town. So, those two things coincided. So, there was this massive celebration, parade, which is what you're seeing here. I will say, so they hired Mom to be the face painter for the event, and the plan was Tommy and I were going to go down. I was going to, I helped her get set up, and it was going to be where I was going to help, get the line organized and all of the stuff, and then she would take it from there. And if need be, I would help her, whatever. And I was going to take Tommy walking around. We were going to check out the things. I was going to get some more video for you all, except for the fact that it got so busy. She was doing anywhere from about 20 to 30 kids' faces per hour. And that plus the wind blowing, some stuff flying around in the tent, things like that. It became crazy, and unfortunately, all I got was the parade. So that is what you're going to see here for most of the rest of the video. And one of the things I always love about the parades in our town when we do these festivals, I'm not saying they don't have them in other towns and things like that, but we get all sorts of stuff. We get a lot of the classic cars like you're seeing here. The fire companies come from all over the area, sometimes even 2 or 3 hours away. They'll volunteer for one of their fire trucks or an ambulance or something to come and help celebrate, because that is one thing that we have a lot of around here is local pride, and we like to show off and blast the horns and all of that. Now, as you're seeing, I did speed up the video a bit because it was a very long video of this parade, and I cut the music out just because they were playing some copyrighted music, and there was all sorts of other talking and everything else going on. But you see the pride, you see all the candy being thrown around, but you just see how proud we are of our area and things like that. So yeah, I got some video here. We're gonna go through and see this. We're gonna see all the different things throwing candy. Mom was even collecting some candy for her and Tommy and myself to have. But there's different things like the historical society coming through. There's the different VA, VFW, Boy Scout troops, all of the stuff going on, the mini football, mini cheerleading, all of that sort of stuff coming through, the high school band, so on and so forth. So you're going to see a lot of that. We're going to transition to that, plus some new for season 3 background music by the one and only Ryan Kratz, and I'll pick up with you here in just a moment. things you've seen a couple times here by now is the different characters that are going by. You saw somebody as Elvis, you saw some Bluey. Of course, to the top of this one, you see an inflatable eagle riding a rocket ship. The Democratic committee just went by with somebody dressed up as the donkey. And again, there were different people from the historical society before. I know I said it just a little bit ago, but I'll tell you, we go all out, and I'm really curious if this is just a local thing. Because I try to tell different friends who've never been here and things like that about the different festivals and all sorts of stuff that we do here. And people will often talk about the fact that, like, oh, a festival is more like a Coachella or something like that, where it's like a multi-day thing and there's big stages and all this stuff. But like we have fiestas, festivals, bazaars, all this stuff. They're all similar, but I'm curious what they call them in your neck of the woods. And I'm curious if your towns go all out, because I have some friends that are from like some of the bigger cities, and they wouldn't necessarily do stuff like this. Like, you're about to see a whole slew of fire trucks and ambulances and other emergency service vehicles. Some of them are from the town that we live in. Some of them are from the towns that we like, where Mom grew up. Where Tommy used to live, and the surrounding areas. And like I said, some of them come from the surrounding areas to up to 2 or 3 hours away, just to come and help celebrate things like our town turning 160 slash the country turning 250. So I'm curious if they do this sort of stuff where you are. What do they call it? Do they just call it like a day of fun? Do they call it a festival? Do they call it a fiesta, a bazaar? Just like a town gathering? Like, what would they call this sort of thing? Because I always like to see how the different parts of the country do things. And like we said at the end of season 2, we will be going back out sooner rather than later, and going to other towns again, just like we did back in season 1, to get back to exploring different parts of the country and whatnot. So let us know what they do in your town, when might be the best time to come, and maybe we could see some of the stuff like we have here, because we would love to see how they do this sort of thing in your town. Let us know in the comments below. For now, we will get back to a little bit of background music before we finish out with the emergency service vehicles here. And as we get to the end here, you will see, ironically enough, who was leading the pack right after this last police vehicle here was none other than our very own Ryan Kratz, who apparently had called me earlier to find out if there was supposed to be a parade. That's what he's telling Mom right here, was that he wanted to know because he wanted to try to avoid it. Instead, he got to be the first in the civilian line. You also see here, Mom always wants to get pictures with the different mascots and stuff. So one of the ones that we saw walking by that we had to get a picture with was Mr. Peanut. So there was her and Tommy and Mr. Peanut. Thank you for watching the premiere episode of Season 3, and thank you for checking out the videos. As always, let us know what you want to see going forward. Drop a comment and a like below. Talk to you next time.